So, Marvel has a super secret project. We're going to find out more.
Wow, I'm kind of excited about that. Could your basic training include a scene out of Quake? I don't know.
And did you like Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker in the new Spider-Man? You may not be after you hear what inspired Garfield's take on the iconic Marvel character. We also have a glimpse into the multiverse. Sean has news from Flight Test Land. Of course, a great interview you will not want to miss. That's all on today's Slice.
Covering all the news from every dark corner of the universe.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Hola y saludos a todos. धरती के वासियों की ओर से
Sliceofsci-fi.com.
All right, folks, it is time for another Slice of Sci-Fi. I'm Michael Armenenge.
I'm Brian Brown.
I am Brett Philippek.
I am Megan Zier.
And I am Noah Richmond.
Welcome, Noah. Thanks for breaking up the dull monotony of the rest of us.
Because we're so boring.
That's right. Let's get some news.
Okay.
Your news team is next.
Let's just say some of us are more charming and interesting than others on this news team.
Don't talk about yourself like that, Brian. It's okay.
Moving on.
Give yourself more credit.
One of the staples of most first-person shooters, and especially of Quake, is the lightning gun.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So apparently someone at the Department of Defense has been playing a lot of it lately.
Nice.
So the Pentagon is supposedly developing its own version of the lightning gun.
Of course they are.
I may have to enlist.
It's pretty awesome.
I know I'm old.
The Defense Department is reportedly working on a laser that shoots lightning bolts. It's not just a lightning gun; it's a laser that shoots lightning bolts. Yes.
Wow.
I want sea bass with.
If they could put it in the
laser
form of a
beams.
hammer, then we could be. I mean, this would be even better.
So, in fact, the U.S. Army has actually managed to develop a prototype weapon at the Picatinny Arsenal that could eventually be deployed against ground-based and aerial targets.
Why not?
Guess what the only problem is?
If you're melting metal, you're screwed.
No, the laser-induced plasma channel requires lots of electricity.
Lots of power.
To run. Yes. Although the actual lightning bolt only lasts 2 trillionths of a second, the overall power output, dig this, 50 billion watts.
Wow. Holy crap baskets.
Yeah, it's enough to power a large city, really.
They just need Mr. Fusion on the back of their...
Exactly.
Wow. Right. Basically, it's not a joke about the hammer.
No, it really isn't. So, frankly, the weapon is a little bit more at odds with the Pentagon's new green policy. Because it consumes tons of electricity. Somehow, I think that's kind of at odds. So,
one shot and it takes out New York.
Exactly.
Right. But it's solar powered.
No, if it was only solar powered. How many days do we have to wait? 1,000 days before things charged. Wow. Wait there. Hold on. Don't invade yet.
And it only works in Arizona.
Oh,
can you imagine the size of that capacitor?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, moving along. So as we wait for the Avengers to assemble again for another movie,
yes,
Marvel is expanding this universe with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yay!
Really? Megan knows of this.
So excited.
The studio planned to break the news during the San Diego Comic-Con, but the story obviously leaked out before then, according to Hollywood Reporter. The project has a script from Nicole Perlman, who wrote the Black Widow script that was so impressed execs that they brought her on to work on Thor. And the trade paper says it is good to go at this point in time. In fact, Marvel is reportedly shooting to have the film open May of 2014.
Wow.
As live action, right? Not animated.
Yeah.
Live action. Okay.
So if they were so impressed with the Black Widow script, where's the movie?
I know, exactly. But they decided...
Girls don't sell movies.
Yeah, silly
Scarlett
boy.
Johansson sells movies.
That is a good point.
She could read the phone book, and I would watch that. I would pay in 3D.
Yes.
So according to reports, Perlman's script is similar to the Avengers in terms of spotlighting humor and action, and the studio is apparently looking for a director for said project. Meanwhile, Marvel, of course, is hard at work on Ant-Man movie. Edgar Wright is working on the test reel right now for that.
Okay.
Nice.
Came close to making The Runaways, of course, as well. And there's also scripts for Doctor Strange and Iron Fist, among others, coming up to bat. So
wow.
They're really cranking
they
them through.
They are really trying to crank out some superheroes.
Yeah.
All right. One more really cool story.
This is the Garfield Andrew Garfield role. So for the role of Peter Parker in Spider-Man, actor Andrew Garfield said he went back and revisited other film interpretations of the iconic character, including
Oh, no.
Spider-Man XXX.
Really?
He said, I watched it a few times. I watched it more from an inspirational standpoint than a sexual standpoint. I told this to Hollywood.com. I think you can find inspiration from anywhere when it comes to this character because it's everyone's. It belongs to everyone. Spider-Man XXX director Axel Braun responded to the viral video with, "This is totally awesome."
That is so cool.
It goes a long way to validate my efforts to reach out a different demographic other than the typical porn consumer, and it does justice to the characters that I love. Thank you, Andrew, for the massive ego stroke.
That is fantastic. Wow.
Really? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, if you're looking for another adult version of Spider-Man, it was released last year by Vivid. If you're interested in seeing it, you know where to look.
That's right.
Don't look at Sci-Fi. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
With that insanity,
Multiverse
let's
time.
go some news.
Neutron Media presents Lance Neutron's Multiverse News featuring Lance Neutron. Filling in for Lance Neutron is Nigel Blackwood.
Hello and welcome to the news. We've been given the distinct privilege of trying out the new Slice of Sci-Fi Universal Translator, and we prepared what we believe to be the ultimate test.
Hey, Slicers, it's the Fox. Well, I will
Don't
not
run.
be going to Packers
We are your
here.
friends.
I will not be going
We mean
to
you no
the
harm.
party in Seattle.
We are your friends.
Well, it seems to be working just fine. Wonderful. And now, our friend Sean from Edwards is here with a very special report. It has taken the two of us quite some time to get permission for this. We'll let Sean explain. Take it away, Sean.
Hey, Slicer, Sean from Edwards here with a special report on behalf of the Multiverse News. I am here at Area 51, just outside the mysterious Hangar 13, and I'm here to show you, the Slice of Sci-Fi audience, just what the International Space Agency's Captured UFO Technology Division has been up to. The technologies behind this door are fantastic and will now allow our warfighters the ultimate edge. Oh, and before we get too much further into this, Nigel, communication received. Operation Genesis is a go. Phase 1 complete. And let's begin with the tour. Let's head over here. Now, behind this door are wonders you would never imagine. Just swipe in, and it's not working. That's odd. Gate just cleared my badge again, but here, let me check it again. And still not working. What the heck?
Sir? Sir? I'm sorry, sir, but you are not allowed in there.
General O'Neill just cleared the Multiverse News crew here, right there, wave to the camera, to go into this hangar. There better be a good reason for this.
I understand that you had orders, but those have been canceled, sir.
Son, what are you talking about? I can name off the top of my head the people on this planet who have a higher security level clearance than me.
The head of the network, a Mr. Lance Neutron, called us personally and asked us to cancel the story. Now, sir, if you would, please turn off those cameras.
Folks, we'll get back to you as soon as we can, as soon as I settle the security issue, and after Neutron and I have a slight talk. Sean Pember's out.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
And welcome back to more of Slice of Sci-Fi. I'm Michael Armenenge.
I'm Sam Roberts.
And I am Brian Brown. Oh, you know, it wouldn't be a summer unless we have one of our dear, dear friends hanging out with us again. Well, kind of.
Virtually. Sort of.
Virtually.
He's a busy guy. He doesn't have time for us anymore. He's all big.
Yeah, I know. If you don't follow Jeffrey Nodkin on either Twitter or Facebook or any of those other places, you're missing out on a lot. And he took some time to talk to us today. Welcome back again, Jeff.
Thank you so much, friends. I'm never too busy to talk to Slice of Sci-Fi. What is this nonsense? You're my favorites. You know that.
That's true.
shucks.
I'm blushing.
Yeah.
Gorsh. But, boy, I tell you what, talk about meteoric rise to fame. Anyway. You're everywhere, dude. I'll tell you what.
Thank you.
Well, you got a new book. I mean, that's really...
I do. I'm so excited. My second book, which is called Rockstar Adventures of a Meteorite Man, very low-key, humble title, as is consistent with my personality.
Of course.
And punny.
And I love the cover art. It looks like you're holding an Uzi and ready to go to war. It's awesome.
And actually, I was just at Space Fest Tucson, which maybe we'll have a minute to talk about also. And I had a big poster of the book up, and a guy came up and he goes, "Dude, love the Rambo poster, really cool." And then another guy comes up and he goes, "Dude, you look just like Terminator." So I thought, hey, if I get two guys back to back thinking he looks like Rambo and Terminator, I have to be doing something right.
Badass.
There you go.
So that photo was taken by Suzanne Morrison, my location photographer, while we were filming season 3 of Meteorite Men. Well, not while we were filming, but while we were traveling. And we were out in the woods in Iowa, and I was walking up and down this leafy lane under these giant trees, and Suzanne goes, "Wait, stand right there." And we took it, and it was just perfect. And then I thought, I want it to be really stark. Put it in Photoshop, turn it to black and white, put some film grain on it, like we used to do in the old days, down the dark room, doing a bit of hands-on artwork.
That's awesome.
Oh, that is good.
So the publication date is June 1st, and actually it's just at the bindery, so we'll have it in a few days. Hey, maybe we could do a contest.
Ooh.
I could send you some signed copies.
We're always about contests.
We would gladly
me
do
too.
that. So what's the new book about?
Well, as you will remember, because we've talked about it in the past, my first book, Meteorite Hunting, was a very practical, scientific book that instructs people in the art of meteorite finding.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sort of a product of the show to some degree, because so many people watched Meteorite Men and then called and emailed and said, "Wow, this is cool, I want to find a meteorite, how do I do it?" So instead of answering a gazillion emails, I thought, well, I'll put it in a book, and then I'll only have to say it once. And so that's something that I did last year. That was 2011 project. But Rockstar, I have been working on since 1998 when I was 10. And so, 14 years in the making. And initially it was going to be a collection of adventure stories about my travels across the globe in search of space rocks. And then I thought, well, I should do a chapter about my childhood and my first expedition to Iceland when I was 10 and all the trouble I got into in British school. And then I was a rock and roller and I played in the punk scene in London and New York. And then so it just kept growing. And then I was kind of done a couple of years ago. And I go, okay, it's finally finished, ready to publish. And then we started doing Meteorite Men, and I thought, well, I can't now put out my autobiography, not have anything about the TV show. People will buy it and go, what's this rubbish? He doesn't even mention the TV show. So it just kept growing and growing and growing, and ended up being 23 chapters and 252 pages. And finally, one day I said, that is the end. I don't care if an asteroid lands in the middle of the Atlantic next week and we go and visit it by submarine. I'm not writing another chapter. So anything else that happens will be Rockstar Volume 2 or Glam Star or Disco Star or something.
Ooh, I want to read about Disco Star.
There we go. That's the one holy cow, 250 pages. That's a rodent killer, dude.
Yeah, it's quite thick. When we got the final proof back from the printer, I said, oh, wow, it's really big. It's going to be really expensive to ship. Which, writers don't think about that. They go, I'm an artist. I'm not concerned about shipping costs. That's for the minions to tackle. But I'm very proud of it, and there are a lot of laughs, and there's some amusing stories about my family and my crazy friends, some of whom you know, and some you know by reputation, Neil Gaiman, and some of the people I knew in the comics and film industry and all that. And there are 130 photographs in it, about 126 of which have never been published before. I've been hoarding all the really good ones. Oh, and the best part, how could I forget this, is literally the best part, is that my lifelong dear friend and brilliant writer Neil Gaiman wrote the introduction for me.
Oh, very nice.
That's very,
if that's
very
not
cool.
a pat on the back, I don't know what is.
Right?
It's like, I mean, Neil said, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" He goes, "Okay, I'll do it. I hope you like it." And I hope you like it. I mean, it's like and then he wrote back. He goes, "Oh, I really enjoyed the book. I hope you're pleased with the introduction." I said, "Neil, having you tell me that you like the book is like having Winston Churchill tell you that you made a good speech."
The only way it could have been better is if Douglas Adams rose from the grave and said, "I want to write the beginning of your book." Right?
Can you hook that up for the next book?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there you go.
We got people in connections.
Get right on that.
Yeah, you bet.
I know. Well, you probably got connections with the demons as well.
I cannot confirm.
No idea what you're talking about.
No,
not at all.
All right, Jeff. So you've been traveling around a lot, and you mentioned the last place you were at. Well, people commenting about your photo. Why don't you talk about that experience?
Oh yes. So we've just returned from Space Fest 4 here in my adopted home city of Tucson, and in addition to being a science fiction fan and a comic book fan and a meteorite nut and everything else, I'm just mad about the space program. I always have been. And in 1969, when Apollo 11 landed, my parents wrote a note to the headmaster of my stuck-up British school and said, "Jeffrey's not coming to school today, he's staying home to watch the moon landing," which I thought was brilliant, but didn't go over well at school. I did stay home, though. So this past weekend at the Star Pass Resort here in Tucson, we had one of the most astonishing gatherings of astronauts of all time. And Buzz Aldrin was there, Fred Hayes of Apollo 13, Skylab pilots, shuttle pilots, Alan Bean, Gene Cernan, the last man on the moon. I think we had 19 astronauts and Richard Hatch from Battlestar Galactica,
Awesome.
Wow.
with whom I had the pleasure of having dinner.
Oh.
And may I say, if you could ever get one person on the show, unless you'd already interviewed him, he is so brilliant.
Well,
many times, actually.
We have talked to him a few times.
Oh, I wasn't sure. Okay.
No, it's fine. He is. He's a very, very well-spoken gentleman, and he's very, very smart.
He's so passionate. And we got into talking about independent financing of television and web programming and ethics and government and this and that, and I was just enthralled. I mean, again, it would be like having dinner with Winston Churchill. You couldn't possibly be bored. There's just so much there. So that was a treat. And, kind of cool to have actual astronauts and one of the most famous television science fiction astronauts there all together.
Where was I at? I didn't even know this was going on. It sucks I missed it.
Well, I'll tell you what. We had such a great time, and we got on so well with the organizers, Kim and Sally Poor, who run the Nova Space company here in Tucson, and they're experts in space memorabilia, and Kim Poor is a fantastic space artist. He does astronomy paintings, just amazing people. And so they asked if we might like to come back next year, and I said I would crawl here on my tongue. My actual expression to the organizers. So we're doing it again next year. It's going to be May 23 to 26th, and I really cannot recommend it strongly enough for anyone who loves the space program and would like to meet astronauts. It was magical, and they're so approachable. And can you imagine? Poor Buzz. Since 1969, probably every time he goes to some public appearance, some guy comes up and goes, "Hey, Buzz, what was it like, like going into space?" I mean, how could you possibly answer that? I get fed up with people coming up to me going, "How do you know it's really a meteorite from outer space?" And I haven't been doing this nearly as long as Buzz.
Well, you pick it up, and if it doesn't smell like poo, you're probably close, right?
Exactly. Well, and that's the scientific explanation.
There you go.
Absolutely.
But no, really, seriously, what amazed me, I mean, what monumental achievements they were part of, and the things that they witnessed. These are, and I hesitate to use the word heroes because it's so overused, but what courageous, amazing, unique people, and they're so modest. Not one guy said, "Oh yeah, we've been to the moon. I've seen everything. We don't have time to talk to the fans." No, they were so welcoming and full of stories and anecdotes and warmth, and it's just magnificent to meet people who have accomplished so much and are so friendly and approachable. and love the fans and love the space program enthusiasts.
Well,
it was one of the best events I've ever done.
And you were in good company then, because you belong with them as well, Mr. Nodkin.
Mm-hmm.
What, you mean because I'm spaced out?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And approachable.
That's something like that, yeah.
Well, thank you.
All right.
I mean, I was saying to everyone, oh my God, I would have just come here as a fan and just to hang out. And I was invited as a guest. And I said, look, it was a we're not worthy moment. You know, I mean, I'm standing next to Buzz Aldrin, and we're both wearing VIP badges, and I just felt like getting down on my knees and going, I'm not worthy, I'll take my badge off.
Oh. Well, Jeff, unfortunately, we are out of time as always.
It's all good.
I know it is, but you, sir, will have to come up as soon as you're, finished doing your rock star life and hang out with us again in the studio.
That's
real
right.
soon.
Then we got the whole show. We got 3 shows.
I promise. I can't. I literally can't wait. And it's on my calendar, and we will do it this year. And just before I scoot, may I just quickly mention the Roswell Comic Convention and Film Fest in Roswell, New Mexico, June 22nd to 24th this month. It's going to be amazing. Science fiction convention in Roswell, it's going to rock.
There you go.
So I'm a guest there, along with the Power Rangers and a really interesting cast of celebrities and comic book people. It's going to be tons of fun.
There you go, folks. Go out and meet Mr. Jeffrey Nodkin. He's a fantastic gentleman. Pick up his book, Rockstar Adventures of a Meteorite Men. Jeff, as always, it's a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much.
The pleasure's all mine. Thank you. See you soon.
All right, well, more Slice of Sci-Fi right after this.
Hey, Slicer Sean Rivers with more
news from Flight Test Land.
The I'm Not Kidding, this is actually really news edition. First up, the spaceship company and Virgin Galactic have announced that they're going to launch a cargo plan to go along with their private spacecraft venture. This will use the same technology incorporated into the White Knight 2 and Spaceship 2 vehicles for launching small cargoes into space. Pretty interesting idea, though Orbital's been doing it for a while. Let's see what they think. And in the so crazy it actually has to be true news, a British Isles company called Excalibur Almaz has announced plans to start sending space tourists to the moon using recycled Russian spacecraft. No, I'm not kidding. Recycled Russian spacecraft. They intend to have all the necessary technology and materials together within 2.5 years to start launching within the next 5. Recycled Russian spacecraft. Sean from Edwards out.
I'm with him.
They're green.
It's like, I don't know about that one.
Reduce,
I think
reuse,
I'll,
recycle.
Why?
I'll let a few people.
We're setting stuff up on the Soyuz. I mean,
just saying.
rockets. So, I mean, couldn't you know?
In Soviet Russia, satellite recycle you.
That's right.
Maybe that's what they're gonna build the laser guns out of.
Maybe. Yeah. So we have time for one more story?
Go for it.
Let's see. We got a Lego movie. No. Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego movie?
No.
I'd watch it.
No.
I'd watch it.
Here we go. Primeval.
That's good.
So Eureka's ending in a couple weeks, and it doesn't mean we're going to see the last of Niall Matter. He is going to be starring in the Primeval spinoff, which is currently in production, and says that a new version of the popular British series will have a much harder edge than the original.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah, it's called.
That first season was really softball and cheesy, and then it got better. And
it's going to be called Primeval New World. He said our moments with the dinosaurs are going to be a lot more real and higher stakes. Cool. It's got a harder edge that we walk on because every time we see these creatures, it affects us in a huge way. We're never used to that.
So Terra Nova the way it should have been.
Yeah,
got it.
So, Primeval New World also stars Sarah Canning, Miranda Freegan, Jeff Gustafson. Danny Rame is set to be airing late 2012 on Watch UK and Space in Canada. No news yet from the U.S. air dates, of course, or which one will carry it. Primeval star Andrew Lee Potts will also guest star in an unknown number of episodes, while SG-1 and Sanctuary star Amanda Tapping, one of our favorite friends, is set to direct.
Interesting.
Nice.
Very
So
cool.
that's some good news compared to Lego.
I'm with you.
I would
and,
watch a Lego movie.
I'm looking forward to get Amanda back on the show just to talk to her about this.
That's
great.
Absolutely.
We need to get confirmation on what happened to Sanctuary too.
That'd be interesting. Get her and Damon back on and talk
I
to
think
them
it's
again.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, well, anyway, that's going to do it for this show. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Of course, we got the listener feedback show coming up really soon. Get your calls in. You know the numbers, 206-339-TREK. That's 206-339-8735. Or you can email me, MP3s, please, Mike at slicetosci-fi.com. Thank you so much.
See you soon.
See you.